That's kind of a funny joke. I'm just going to get back to writing.
So the manifesto, titled My Twisted World, the story of Elliot Rodger, is an unbearable concentration of 21st century entitlement, and perhaps the most disturbing that we'll cover today due to the sheer number of men who think exactly like him. The internet is filled with people like Elliot Rodger.
We talked about how, technically the most masculine version of this was Leonard Lake and Charles Ng. It's like they took this cruelty to a much bigger level, a more intense level.
Yeah,
Cruelty of women, you're saying, right?
Yeah, well, the entitlement, the view that women should be your toys.
Sure. Yeah, women owe you something. So
right.
The entire manifesto revolves around his virginity, which he blames on the quote-unquote cruelness of women, among many other things, including his apparent inability to learn how to skateboard when he was 10.
Oh.
This is from his manifesto.
I had been trying very hard to get better at skateboarding, but when I saw that there were boys a lot younger than me who could do more tricks, I realized that I sucked. I could never master the kickflip or heel flip. All I could do was the ollie jump and ride down a few ramps. I saw 8-year-old boys at the skate park who could do a kickflip with ease. It made me so angry. Why did I fail at everything I tried? I asked myself. My dreams of becoming a professional skateboarder were over.
Better get back to writing.
Back to writing I go. Women hiding their vaginal hair from me, and I feel betrayed.
So the first part of the Virgin Manifesto is a litany of complaints that start at the age of 5, in which he repeatedly mentions the name of a childhood friend named Lucky Radley, who Rodger said became
an object of my extreme jealousy and hatred.
A Lucky Radley is also when you eat a Carl's Jr. sandwich off a woman's butt. Yeah, that's a Lucky Radley, too.
Oh, I thought it's when you had a couple of onion rings at the bottom of a French fry container.
That's a Lucky Bill.
For Lucky Radley's part, he said in an interview after the attack that he, in fact, barely remembered Elliot Rodger, saying the Virgin only came over to his house a couple times and never gave more than a one-word answer to anything.
I wonder, Lucky, if you would like some Zeppelis I got from the Italian fair.
So you're like a closeted gay dude, right?
No.
Rodger wrote at 14, quote,
Puberty utterly doomed my existence. I was finally interested in girls, but there was no way I could ever get them. And so my starvation began.
There is, it's just, I love the voice that you chose, by the way, because I think that is his inner monologue.
That's what he thinks he sounds like, but it's more like, puberty utterly doomed my existence.
I mean, he does. I mean, he has the classic closeted gay way of speaking of women.
Yeah.
There's a comedian here in New York City who everyone knows is gay, but he'll never come out. And I was hanging out with him one time at a bar, and he a pretty woman walked by, and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, I bet you she has a nice pussy." And I'm like, straight guys don't. What are you talking about?
A nice pussy?
I don't even know.
What does nice pussy mean?
She certainly knows how to pick a pair of heels.
Yes, that's very true. I'm sure.
And Elliot, he kept using, he kept saying, these women kept rejecting my sexual advances.
And then he said that he loves the word starvation,
Yeah.
and he also loves the word magnificent. In one of his video journals, he's like,
How could women deny me? I'm magnificent. I have my Armani glasses. Look at how I look at them. I look magnificent. And my BMW is nicer than the other cars the other boys drive.
I do have just a hatred for his parents, I have to say. I mean, I know there's sort of victims in this,
this dude should have been smeared on the highway as a child.
Now, Rodger said that all the boys his age were having sex at 14, which they fucking weren't.
They definitely
We
weren't.
all know that kids lie about that type of shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like, what sorts of weird shit did kids say when y'all were 14?
oh my God, I used to be like, I didn't have 3 pizzas last night. And I would be like, yeah, I totally, I was like I love watching porn.
Ben, you have like a smiley of pepperoni on your chest.
Yeah, because I didn't eat it.
But Elliot, he believed all of this dumb bullshit that the kids were saying, and he hated them for it. This is what he wrote.
That hatred would only fester the more I suffer from my sexual starvation. These recent events caused me to withdraw even further away from the world. I drowned all of my misery in my online games. World of Warcraft was the only thing I had left to live for.
Bam, 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 bam!
Yeah.
That's me just fucking wanting to shoot him in the fucking head. This guy needs to fucking go.
Yes, I agree.
See, one of the most important things to remember about Elliot Rodger is that he was fantastically rich, which even further played into his entitlement. This guy, he wore the most expensive clothes. He drove a brand new BMW. He went to movie premieres. He went to Katy Perry concerts. Ooh. This guy was more privileged than any of us could even possibly fucking imagine.
Well, he came from a Hollywood family. Mm-hmm. He's very similar to a Jonah Hill, and his father directed a lot of commercials, which pays a lot of money.
It does. And his it seems like his mom's only credit was that she dated George Lucas for a little while.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's a hell of a credit.
That's a big credit.
That's a big credit.
Yeah, but Elliot was pissed off that she never married him.
Why wouldn't you marry George? I just wish I could be closer to the mind that could have possibly have thought of that wonderful, magnificent character, Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar.
It needed a dose of humor. The Star Wars world had become so dour and sad. Yes, there's an army of clones, but what about me? Don't I yearn to smile? I starve for a joke or a chuckle.
I guarantee you Elliot Rodgers loved Jar Jar.
He had to. And he even had, like, in the Hollywood world, like, his dad knew a bunch of different people, and one of the dad's close friends was a screenwriter who used to give Elliot, like, certain tips, like, hey, why don't you try not being such a weird fucking creep?
Sure.
And this guy, he actually did have some pretty good credits. He wrote Ruthless People, My Cousin Vinny, and most impressively, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
I'm actually going to say My Cousin Vinny for most impressively. I love that movie.
I'm a Dirty Rotten Scoundrels guy.
Yeah.
So no one likes your final choice, Marcus.
No, I said Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Oh, you said that was the best.
Yeah.
Oh, overruled. I must get back to writing.
Even though Roger was already rich by any standard, he became obsessed with winning the lottery, saying it was his only way, even going so far as to drive to Arizona and Utah to buy extra Powerball tickets. But when he missed out on 4 consecutive jackpots, this, for some reason, was what pushed him over the edge.
Now, this is very unfortunate, because he just went from being your run-of-the-mill loser that wears Eurotrash clothes and drives a BMW, and then he went ahead and bought a gun.
Yeah, he went and bought a gun. Yeah. He started going to a firing range on a regular basis, and he started planning his so-called Day of Retribution.
Right.
And the thing is, I will actually say something about the parents, is that they tried. They actually did. Everyone tried with Elliot Rodger. No one abandoned this guy at all. His parents, he started going to therapy when he was in middle school. His parents got friends like, hey, listen, can you help out my son? Like, can you say something to him because we can't get through to him? A bunch of people said, like, yeah, I tried talking to him. I tried being his friend. I tried getting through to this guy, but he never took to it. He never took to a single bit of it. He was just ruined.
What do you think is that mental illness? Is this psychopathy?
It's narcissism.
Is this like a thing where...
It is an extreme form of narcissism, combined with psychopathy.
Well, that's what they talk about with manifesto killers, right? Is that the idea is that they have an agenda and they want the whole world to bow at their feet and know exactly why they do what they do, which is why they write what they do. They have an endless need to connect and rule over everyone. And it's very interesting how, like, you have a whole active community trying to help somebody, but he still goes ahead and he pulls the trigger.
Yeah, he does it anyway.
He could have made it. I mean, he knows how to write. He wrote 130 pages. Why can't he just be an author? I mean, why couldn't he just be satisfied with that?
Ben, anyone can write 137 pages. That doesn't mean it's good. Have you been listening to the shit that this guy's been writing?
50 Shades of Grey is true trash.
That is actually really true.
Sold more books than any book on earth.
Exactly. He could have written a story about the loner's perspective of,
Right.
of a lonely dude going out looking at chicks that he can't get, and he buys a gun, but instead just gets his dick sucked for an hour by the gun salesman woman. That would sell 1 million copies.
It would, and all you have to do is get that on the desk of one of these schmucky producers, and they'll be like, "Oh, sold, whatever."
Exactly. Just a books about battalions of hot women that stop shooters before they happen by sucking their dicks.
I mean, Jesus, Henry, what would you do for this guy's connections? To be friends with the guy that wrote Dirty Rotten Scoundrels?
I would be making money, baby.
Making money.
So as far as this guy's worldview goes, after his day of retribution was finally being planned, this is when his worldview really starts to come into focus.
Women's rejection of me is a declaration of war, and if it's war they want, then war they shall have. It will be a war that will result in their complete and utter annihilation. I will deliver a blow to my enemies that will be so catastrophic, it will redefine the very essence of human nature.
All right, so I just gotta. Do you know there's like 3.2 billion women in the world?
What?
Yeah, billion with a B.
What?
Yeah, you're one person.
And I heard somebody told me that even Danny DeVito has a wife.
He does. Perlman, yeah.
Rhea Perlman.
Rhea Perlman.
She's not a total dog.
No. I mean, you would have to kill her as well.
All right, I guess. I did love Cheers, though.
Oh no, Rhea Perlman has her own charm.
She
Yeah.
does, absolutely she does. I could see it in the way Danny DeVito smiles, how happy she makes him. I wish I didn't have to kill Rhea Perlman.
All right.
Now, Elliot's ultimate plan was to travel to the Alpha Phi sorority house and kill as many women as possible, because through research and stalking, Roger had decided that Alpha Phi had the hottest girls in town. He said,
I will sneak into their house at around 9 p.m. on the day of retribution, just before all the partying starts, and slaughter every single one of them with my guns and knives. If I have time, I will set their whole house on fire. Then we shall see who the superior one really is.
Can I just throw this suggestion out there at you? Why don't you're there, they're partying. Why don't you leave the knives and the gun and just go have a drink with them?
But what about the day of retribution?
It was just a day of celebration. You could make...
You mean I should take my phone and I should turn it upside down?
Yes, grow your heart.
And his heart grew 3 sizes that day.
So on March 23rd, Roger began his killing spree by stabbing his 3 roommates to death because, as he said,
These were the biggest nerds I have ever seen, and they're both very ugly, with annoying voices.
This is really Bundy-esque.
Yes.
To stab 3 people, I feel like I would wake up if my roommate was getting stabbed.
Well, no,
But
no,
I
no,
guess
no,
you
no.
just do it so
I mean,
quick.
You got like weird allergy muffs on, and you got like the weird humidifiers running because they were a bunch of nerds.
But this is straight berserko. It's not easy, berserker mode. It's not easy to stab 3 people in one sitting.
it's really not. And it was later on at night, too. I mean, this was like early evening. Well, I mean, we didn't really have time to go through the actual timeline of what happened with the 3 roommates, but go read it. It's terrifying.
When did they go to sleep?
No, they weren't asleep.
What?
It was just, he just walked in and did it.
Wow.
So tragically, one of the roommates was planning on moving out the very next week, as Roger reportedly spent most of his time in his room blasting the most hated of all musical genres, soft rock. His favorites included Phil Collins, Sting, and this song in particular.
Hey, Roger, I got a test in the morning. Hey, Roger, it's my finals week.
This is my Phil Collins time! You do not interrupt my Phil Collins time! bought these white sneakers so I could walk down the avenue in them while listening to this song.
All right, I'm gonna move out in a week, okay?
Hey, wait a second. Could you check in the kitchen to see if we have any clean knives?
Yep, all clean.
There's no musical artist I hate more than Phil Collins.
Is it Phil Collins' fault or his fans'
It's
fault?
Phil Collins' fault.
It's Phil Collins'
I'm
fault.
going to say this whole killing spree is Phil Collins' fault.
No, he does not have blood in his head.
Yes, he
Leave
does.
him alone.
He does, because the thing about this, this music set Elliot Rodger in a belief that every day was supposed to be a sunny LA boardwalk in 1987.
Yeah, that's
where
a
he
good
was
point.
giving finger guns to chicks on roller skates.
And they loved it.
Yeah, they were like, woo, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't realize he was watching the videos, and no one loved Phil Collins like that in real life if he wasn't a multi-millionaire.
There were actors in those music videos.
We know about this man's penchant for the worst music in the world because Elliot Rodger shot and uploaded dozens upon dozens of videos to YouTube right up to the day he died. And the videos had names like
Life is so unfair because girls don't want me.
and
Why do girls hate me so much?
of course,
Stuck in traffic in Santa Barbara. Made it a little fun.
and that's where he just filmed traffic while playing SOS by the Police.
That is making it a little bit more fun, though. The police always make it a little bit more fun.
I just think a lot of times when I'm not thinking about my day of retribution, about how women are starving me of any sort of affection, I like to make things a little fun.
That is fun.
You know, I mean, just stop by. If you're in traffic, just pull off the exit, get yourself a little bit of ice cream. Because if not, you're just gonna be sitting in traffic. I know I can just sit off to the side the same amount of time, enjoy myself a little vanilla cone with some rainbow sprinkles on it.
How was your date with Elliot? It was fun. We sat in traffic, listened to the police.
I made it a little fun for him.
And he didn't just, of course, upload videos, because his account is still up.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You can go and see his account right now. You can see all of the videos that he uploaded, and you can also see all of the videos that he liked.
Oh.
And he seemed to be overly fond of videos featuring various Pokemon songs, including this one.
Well, Sally, now that I've played you my favorite song, will you have sex with me? So you'll starve me again?
Yes. He was also really into videos about the video game Conker's Bad Fur Day, which was a mature audience's Nintendo 64 game about a greedy drunk squirrel trying to get home to his girlfriend.
Good Lord.
So in between the murder of his roommates and the assault on